A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines today. Discussion slated in Lok Sabha today on alleged banking irregularities over the years and its impact on the country's economy. Debate to be held under rule that does not require voting. Conrad Sangma to be sworn in as Chief Minister of Meghalaya today. The NPP Chief and 11 cabinet ministers to be administered the oath by the Governor. BJP to join the government while alliance partner HSPDP will not be attending the ceremony. BJP and ally IPFT to elect their leader in Tripura. The BJP State President Biplab Dev is the front runner. Former NPF leader in Nagaland, Y. Pattern, is chosen as BJP Legislature Party leader in the state. Rival parties to prove majority in the state on Wednesday. Mega naval exercise Milan to begin in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. India to host navies from at least 15 countries during the 8-day event. Exercise in backdrop of China's growing military posturing in the Indo-Pacific region. And Rohit Sharma to lead India against Sri Lanka in the first match of the Tri-Nation T20 tournament in Colombo today. Bangladesh is the third team in the 7-match series. India look for the first win, meanwhile, at the Aslan Shah Cup as they take on Australia and Malaysia. Our top story, Lok Sabha will take up a discussion on irregularities in the banking sector today. The discussion is slated to be raised by N.K. Premachandran of the Revolutionary Socialist Party and K.C. Venugopal of the Congress. The leaders will raise the issue of alleged systemic irregularities in the sector over the years and its impact on the Indian economy. The discussion will be held under Rule 193 that does not entail voting. There were repeated disruptions in lower house on the first day of the second half of the budget session on Monday. Opposition Congress protested over the over 12,500 crore rupee PNB fraud case. The House was adjourned for the day after protests over the scam and over demands for special package for Andhra Pradesh by TDP MPs. And Rajya Sabha too witnessed repeated adjournments of proceedings on Monday as several parties protested over the PNB fraud case and other issues. The chair even granted permission to conduct a debate on the frauds in public sector banks. However, members refused to relent, despite assurance from the chairman that discussions on issues will be allowed under appropriate rules. The agitated members paralyzed proceedings for the day.
The second half of the budget session of Parliament got off to a stormy start as members disrupted proceedings of the Rajya Sabha over several issues. The Trinamool Congress raised the issue of the PNB fraud, while the AIADMK and the DMK demanded the constitution of the Kaveri Water Management Board. The TDP and a Congress member demanded special status to Andhra Pradesh.
Please go to for a while. Just for a while.
Admitting that the issue of fraud at the Punjab National Bank was very important, Chairman Venkaiah Naidu said a short duration discussion can be allowed on the issue. He also observed that several notices under Rule 267 had been received from opposition members that were being set aside. The chairman said discussions can be allowed only under rules.
And I feel as a chairman of the House needs to discuss that issue because this is agitating the minds of the people. So, it's agitating the minds of the people. So for that, but I suggest that I cannot accept under 267. You can give notice under 176 or other appropriate thing after discussion. Please, after discussion, then I will consider it positively and decide at the earliest, because for that I need to talk to the leader of the House also.
Chairman Naidu also said a notice from Vinay Sahasrabuddhe of the BJP over alleged corruption by relatives of a former minister was received but was being disallowed under Rule 267.
Second is the notice given by Sri Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe and others is about corrupt practices indulged in by the relatives of the former ministers, and they also given a name of a person who is involved in some alleged scams. That also is an important matter, but I cannot allow it under 267.
As the members continued to protest, the chair adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
I am adjourning the House to meet at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Even in the post-lunch session, the opposition continued to disrupt the House despite the Deputy Chairman giving permission to conduct a debate on frauds in public sector banks.
A discussion on alarming fraud in public sector banks. That is the first notice I am having. I am ready to allow discussion on this, a short duration discussion. The chair is ready to allow that discussion, and after that discussion is over, on other days, we can consider other subjects also.
With no respite in sight, the chair adjourned the House till Tuesday.
The House stands adjourned till 11 hours on Tuesday, 6th March 2008.
Two houses of parliament met after a month-long recess for the second half of the budget session. The government is trying to push key bills like the Motor Vehicles Amendment Bill, the Anti-Triple Talaq Bill, the OBC Bill and the Economic Offenders Bill. Both the Treasury and the opposition benches need to arrive at a consensus to ensure that the proceedings of the House are not washed out and the session becomes a productive and a fruitful one. Reporting from Delhi, with camera person Sudhanshu, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
And after the proceedings of Rajya Sabha were washed out on Monday, MOS Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goel targeted opposition members for derailing the constructive and pro-people agenda of the government. He also said that the government was ready to discuss all contentious issues raised by the opposition members.
Sir, the first day of the second half of the budget session of Parliament, and of course we saw disruptions in the first half as well, and also post lunch session also there were disruptions only. How is the session going to proceed like this?
देखिए, बजट सत्र हमारे लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण सत्र है, क्योंकि इसमें अप्रोप्रिएशन बिल आना है, फाइनेंस बिल आना है, बजट पास होना है, महत्वपूर्ण बिल हैं। पर मैं समझता हूँ लोग अपने अपने मुद्दों को लेकर पार्टियाँ चर्चा नहीं होने दे रही हैं, जबकि इस सरकार की खास बात यह है कि हम हर विषय पे चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार हैं।
So, but we saw it today that even after Chairman clarified and also Deputy Chairman clarified that he was ready to take up the discussion, the opposition parties refused to relent. What is going to be the government's strategy now?
मुझे कई बार लगता है कि लोग पॉलिटिकल फ़ायदा उठाने के लिए ही उठाते हैं, चर्चा नहीं करना देना चाहते हैं। तो कभी एक सरकार ऐसी थी यूपीए की जो चर्चा नहीं करती थी, इसलिए शोर मचाना पड़ता था। यहाँ तो शोर तब मचा रहे हैं जब सरकार चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है उनके पास कहने को कुछ नहीं है और सरकार के पास कहने को बहुत कुछ उपलब्धि है।
Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, meanwhile, responded to Congress's charges on the bank frauds case. He said that no loan given under Prime Minister Modi's rule has turned into an NPA, while the NPA is increased manifold under the Congress-led UPA government. He also said that the entire banking system in India was derailed during the UPA government's time.
कांग्रेस की सच्चाई यह है कि एक तरफ नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार में एक भी एनपीए नहीं होता जो 4 साल में लोन दिया गया, और यूपीए की सरकार में एडवांसेस बढ़े, रिकॉर्ड्स पर रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हुए और 36% का ट्रस्ट एसेट सही में 82% निकला।
Meanwhile, the CBI has told a special court in Mumbai that the Punjab National Bank fraud case has been going on since 2010. The agency explained to the court the modus operandi involved in the over 12,500 crore rupee fraud. The CBI also secured a 12-day remand of 4 accused arrested in connection with the case. Meanwhile, the CBI court also remanded 6 others arrested in the case last month in judicial custody till 19th of March. The investigating agency also questioned the general manager of the bank who handles the treasury section. In another investigation, the Enforcement Directorate has summoned former Finance Ministry officials in connection with its money laundering probe in the INX Media deal case. According to reports, the summons have been issued to at least 4 officials to record their statements under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. All the officials were posted in various ranks of the Foreign Investment Promotion Board of the Finance Ministry in 2007. The agency will also question Peter Mukherjee, former director of the media group, at a Mumbai jail today in connection with the case. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court will hear Karti Chidambaram's fresh plea seeking quashing of the summons issued by the ED in the case today. Karti is presently in CBI custody. A quick break here. We'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's get you all the latest updates coming in from the three northeast states. In Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma will be sworn in as the Chief Minister today. Sangma was invited by Meghalaya Governor Ganga Prasad to form the government in the state on Monday. He submitted a letter of support from 34 MLAs, 19 from his party, the NPP, 6 of the United Democratic Party, 4 of the People's Democratic Front, 2 each of the Hill State People's Democratic Party and the BJP, and an independent. BJP President Amit Shah and Union Minister Rajnath Singh will be attending the swearing-in ceremony in Shillong. The BJP will be joining the government. Meanwhile, in a new twist, the HSPDP MLAs will not be attending the ceremony as the party is demanding to keep the BJP out of the alliance, saying that the regional parties together had the required number. We'll keep you updated on developments there. Meanwhile, in Tripura, newly elected MLAs of the BJP and its ally IPFT will meet in Agartala today to elect their leader. State BJP President Biplab Dev is likely to be announced as the chief ministerial candidate. The new government is expected to take oath on the 8th of March. Meanwhile, BJP's ally, the IPFT, Indigenous People's Front of Tripura, has said that it would support the new government from the outside if it was not given a proportionate tribal representation in the cabinet and allocation of major departments to its MLAs. The BJP and IPFT combined had swept to power in the state, winning 43 out of the 59 seats for which elections were held. The BJP had won 35 and IPFT 8 seats.
त्रिपुरा में कौन सा सीएम होना चाहिए वो लेजिस्लेटर जो मेंबर है वो तय करता है ना। तो इसलिए वो तो डेमोक्रेटिक वे में होता है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी डेमोक्रेसी में विश्वास करता है और उस दिशा में काम करता है और उस दिशा में निश्चित काम करेगा। जनता ने राय दिया तो जनता के राय को कैसे सही रास्ता पे लेके जाना है वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी और हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व को पता है।
In Nagaland, the BJP has finally confirmed that it will form the government with its pre-poll alliance partner NDPP, ruling out support to its 15-year-old ally, the Naga People's Front, led by Chief Minister T.R. Zeliang. BJP leader and Assam Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that the new coalition will be called the People's Democratic Alliance. The BJP bagged 12 seats, while its ally NDPP won 17 seats in the 60-member assembly. It is also supported by the lone JDU MLA and an independent legislator. The BJP legislature party unanimously elected former Home Minister Yantungo Patton as its leader. However, the NPF has claimed that the party will form the government again with the support of the BJP. The party also dismissed Sarma's statement as a unilateral decision of the BJP. NPF, which emerged as the single largest party in the assembly polls with 27 seats, is still short of 4 seats to cross the magic figure of 31. Nagaland Governor P.B. Acharya has given time till Wednesday to both sides to prove their majority.
Now the new legislature is in existence and the governor will take a view accordingly and he will decide accordingly. But we are claiming for the support which we have got and we will claim for formation of the new government.
Now, with the victory of BJP and formation of its government in the northeastern states, a positive impact may be seen in future on India's Act East policy of the central government. Results in these states' elections are expected to pave way for implementing policies and priorities of the government related to Act East.
The Act East policy of the government is expected to get a huge boost with the BJP installing its governments in Tripura, Meghalaya and Nagaland. Insurgency and lack of development were cited as reasons for the distrust between the northeastern states and the centre. All that could end now that the BJP will have governments in 6 of the 7 northeastern states.
I can say that yes, it will impact, and I can also say that it will have a positive impact. Quite apart from the fact that the people of northeastern states would now feel probably a bit more connected with the central government and with the mainstream politics of the country, I think they would start having a little bit more faith and greater credibility in the idea that is being pushed by the Modi government, that northeast region of India would have to be the center of India's Act East policy.
The centre had allocated 45,000 crore rupees to connect northeastern states with Southeast Asia. The projects envisaged roads and bridges connecting to Myanmar and Thailand going up to Vietnam. This includes custom points, godowns, pipelines, electricity transmission lines and information technology. Such projects grow right up to Bangladesh through Tripura. But lack of coordination between the centre and the state governments had mired these projects in delays.
Yes, definitely, because see, the thing is, if you look at entire northeast region, it is the gateway to Asia and Southeast Asia. And we are looking forward for a better future of Northeast when the Act East policy is totally implemented, when the trilateral highway comes up, which connects Northeast with the Asian countries and the Southeast Asian countries. You know, there's a trilateral highway being constructed, which starts from Assam, goes to Nagaland, goes to Manipur, then to Myanmar from Moreh.
Illegal migrants have also been a major impediment in connecting Northeast with the Indian mainstream activities and hampering relations with neighbouring countries like Myanmar and Bangladesh. After the BJP came to power, illegal immigrants are being identified in Assam, a process that could extend to Tripura and the other northeastern states as well.
Lack of development in these states were one of the major concerns of even the ASEAN nations. Now that the mantle of power have come to the BJP, it is imperative that things will change according to the expectations of Act East Asia policy. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Shiv Kumar in Delhi.
In other news, Carmelo Abela, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade Promotion of the Republic of Malta, called on Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in New Delhi on Monday. During the meeting, Vice President Naidu said that India is a peace-loving country and wants to have good relations with its neighbours. He also said that India is keen to strengthen bilateral ties with Malta. He said that India-Malta relations have stood the test of time in a world facing new threats and challenges. Responding to the Maltese foreign minister's invitation to visit his country, the vice president said that it will be a pleasure to visit the beautiful nation. A quick break here. Up next, we'll get you the top sports stories. Welcome back. In more national news, the Supreme Court has halted the probe into the Shopian firing incident of January 27th, in which 3 civilians were killed. The Supreme Court bench ordered a halt till 24th of April as the Jammu and Kashmir government told the apex court that Major Aditya Kumar was not named as an accused in the FIR. The apex court bench, headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, was hearing the plea of Lieutenant Colonel Karamveer Singh, the father of Major Aditya Kumar, who sought to quash the FIR against his son. The apex court had on the 12th of February restrained the Jammu and Kashmir police from taking coercive steps against army officers, including Major Aditya Kumar, who was earlier reportedly named as an accused in the case. On the 27th of January, 3 civilians were killed in clashes between stone pelters and army personnel in Shopian. Meanwhile, the army on Monday shot dead an alleged mastermind of the Sunjuwan terror attack in which 6 soldiers were killed. Mufti Waqas, the operational commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed, was killed during an encounter in Kashmir's Avantipur. Based on specific intelligence, a joint operation was launched by the army. There had been no civilian casualties or collateral damage during the operation. The Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists had attacked the 36th Brigade of the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry in Sunjuwan on the 10th of February. 6 army men and a civilian were killed in the attack.
ये काफ़ी बड़ा सक्सेस है for the security forces. So they have coordinated it, and in a very swift and quick operation, this thing was done. Incriminating material इनसे मिला है. Apart from weapons, different type of चीज़ें मिला है, जैसे ID preparation manual और काफ़ी incriminating materials मिला है, जो कि ये establish करता है इनका identity as well as inka outfit.
India will host an 8-day mega naval exercise in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands from today. The exercise is aimed at expanding regional cooperation and combating unlawful activities in critical sea lanes. At least 15 countries are participating in the exercise. Biennial exercise Milan is being organized in the backdrop of China's growing military posturing in the Indo-Pacific region, and officials say that the issue is likely to figure during deliberations among Navy chiefs of the participating countries at the event. The exercise will also provide an opportunity to the participating navies to nurture stronger ties in dealing with various security challenges. Countries participating in the exercise include Australia, Malaysia, Mauritius, Myanmar, New Zealand, Oman, Vietnam, Thailand, Tanzania, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Kenya and Cambodia. Maltese has declined India's invitation to participate in the exercise. Pakistan Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi is in Kathmandu and met the newly appointed Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Monday. Abbasi is the first high-level foreign leader to visit Nepal after Oli assumed office last month. Both leaders have agreed to enhance cooperation between the two countries in areas of economy, defense and culture. They also discussed SAARC as an important platform to explore areas of cooperation among regional countries. The two leaders emphasized the need to reactivate the Pakistan-Nepal Joint Economic Commission and the Joint Business Council to increase bilateral trade. A senior Indian origin Scotland Yard officer, Neil Basu, has been appointed as the counter-terrorism chief in Britain. Neil Basu, a Met Deputy Assistant Commissioner, was announced as the successor to Mark Rowley, who is in overall charge of the country's counter-terrorism operations. Basu, whose father is of Indian origin, said that it's a privilege and accepts the new challenge with humility and a sense of great purpose. Basu takes up the role at a time of a heightened terror alert following 5 terrorist attacks in the UK last year. In more international news, for the first time in 7 years, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un held a meeting with South Korean envoys on Monday in Pyongyang. The 10-member South Korean delegation included 2 ministerial-level envoys, the intelligence chief and the national security advisor of South Korea. In a meeting and a banquet that lasted about 4 hours, Kim Jong-un lent a patient ear to a message by South Korean President Moon Jae-in to hold a summit meet and talk with the United States. State media reports claim that Kim Jong-un wants to advance Korean ties and has made an agreement with the envoys, although details of the agreement haven't been released. This was the first time since taking office in 2011 that Kim met officials from Seoul. Relations between the two Koreas have warmed following last month's Winter Olympics, which were held in Pyeongchang in the south. The US, of course, has said that it is cautiously optimistic about improving North-South contacts, but has ruled out formal talks with Pyongyang unless it is ready to give up its nuclear weapons. On to sports, and India will take on Sri Lanka at the Nedahas T20 Triangular Trophy today in Colombo. This is the first of a 7-match tri-series between subcontinental sides Sri Lanka, India and Bangladesh. The Rohit Sharma-led Indian side is likely to be upbeat after having recently registered historic victories on a tour to South Africa. The triangular series will also provide a perfect platform for many young Indian cricketers who've played consistent cricket in the domestic circuit. Each team will play each other twice and the top 2 teams will play in the finals. The Nedahas Trophy has been arranged to celebrate 70th year of independence of Sri Lanka. The first match will begin tonight at 7 p.m. And India will also play their third match of the ongoing Azlan Shah hockey tournament against Australia at Malaysia's Ipoh today. On Sunday, India had settled for a 1-all draw against England in their second match. Shilanand Lakra had scored the lone goal for India, while a late equaliser from England's Mark Glenhorn drew the match. With this, both India and England got their first point in the tournament. The India-Australia match will begin at 3:30 p.m. An ace Indian shooter Deepak Kumar, Ravi Kumar and Mehuli Ghosh have clinched bronze medals in the ISSF World Cup. The event is underway in Mexico. Deepak Kumar won bronze with a score of 435.1, while Ravi Kumar had a score of 226.4. This is Ravi Kumar's first shooting World Cup medal in the event. In the women's event, Mehuli Ghosh added to India's medal tally as she shot a world junior record 228.4 to win bronze. And that's it on the Breakfast News. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.